sit down.
Hello folks, Colin here, Festus 67's Workshop, and welcome to issue 10 of Legends of Ferrari F1, the die-cast 1/24th scale model collection from our wonderful friends over at DeAgostini. Now, if you would like to join me and get this beautiful collection, head over to their website, folks, by following this link. There's a clickable link in the description below. That will take you to the DeAgostini website, where you can take out a subscription for this beautiful collection of iconic Ferraris. And this month we've got the Ferrari F2003 GA, driven by Michael Schumacher. What more can you say about this guy? An absolute legend of the sport. Luckily, I got to see him drive in his prime. And bless him, nowadays he's recovering from a bad head injury, bless his heart. But iconic driving, YouTube him, do your research, folks. Go back, read up and watch the races that this guy drove in. He was such a phenomenal talent. There you go. So in here, it's the Scuderia Ferrari, developed for the 2003 Formula One World Championship. Was an evolution of the 2002 that improved on all fronts. It was dedicated to the memory of the late Gianni Agnelli. It far surpassed its predecessor, and with it, Michael Schumacher won his 6th world title. Yes, he won 7 in the end, bless him. But the cars looked a lot more simpler back then with their aero and that, but they were iconic because the sound that came from these cars is what made it. It was just phenomenal to go and watch these cars live. The 2003 GA made its debut at the Spanish Grand Prix. In picture 1, Michael Schumacher leaves the pit area at the Montemelo circuit. Yes. The lines of the 2003 car showed its obvious similarity to the previous 2002. It had a slightly longer wheelbase. It was increased by 2 inches to improve mass and distribution, and was also slimmed down at the rear. Yes, and this was back in the days when they had grooved tyres on the cars as well. But absolutely stunning. Lots and lots of information in these magazines, folks. So give them a read. Honestly, you could learn so much, especially if you're not of the generation that remembers these guys when they drove. This is September 14th, 2003, the Renaissance in Monza. And look at the cars. They just look so slick. And yeah. And there's teams there that have since gone by the wayside, and it's quite nice just to see and remember them teams. There's a breakdown there, fact sheet on what the races were that the car was in. All of its data there on its performance, ignition, brakes, wheelbase, engine, all of that. All in there, folks. It says here, in 2003, the German sensational run of F1 titles was added to once again with his 6th. It says, but unlike the 2 immediately preceding years in which he had dominated without too many problems, Michael's success only came at the last race of the calendar, at the end of what turned out to be a tougher than expected championship. But this guy just studied so much about the sport and other drivers. He could more or less tell what they were going to do before they had finished about thinking what they were going to do. Honestly, Alain Prost was known as the professor, but this guy, well, he could just analyse everything. Yeah, stunning. And look at this as well up here. Who remembers the days of pit lane refueling? Yes, folks. That was a thing back then. And yeah, used to see many a close call there. This is a profile of Roy Byrne. And yeah, nice little bit of info on him there. There's Michael and Ross Brom. That was back in the days when Ross was technical director, and the combination of those two at Ferrari was electric. It really was. What a pairing. So that's the magazine looked at. We want to see the beautiful Ferrari, don't we, folks? That's what we want to see. Let's bring it in. It's just here. And we'll open this up and have a looky, kins. But look at that. Hey, wow. In it, hey. Oh, stunning, 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 stunning springs to mind, folks. Yes, the 2003 GA Michael Schumacher from the year 2003. What an absolutely beautiful example, folks. Well, just get me knife, and we'll open this up and bring in the Ferrari. I'll just try and gently lift that from its jelly mould. We can put that just out of the way and bring the car in. Look at that, folks. You can't tell me that that doesn't look like a thing of beauty. Just look at that. Look at all the different aero on there, all the different fins and barge boards within barge boards. Very narrow axle width there that I noticed compared to the modern cars, and perhaps some of the predecessors as well. I think I remember Ayrton's MP4 just seemed to have that wider wheelbase and perhaps a little lower. But yeah, grooved tyres as well, folks. But yeah, it's just the shape of the car. It just looked beautiful to me. Again, with the floors there sitting out, and then the air will just go round underneath all of these weather vanes, as I call them, but spoilers, whatever they're called. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. There's the front wing there with all the different M plates on it. Slightly raised nose there, so that air can go underneath, scoot under the suspension and around these boards, but also can go down through there and straight out the rear end into the diffuser there, folks. Obviously your side pods there look a lot wider than they do in the modern cars now. The modern cars seem to have a very narrow, tiny little slit. But I think this might be just to stop projectiles from going into the radiators. Another thing you'll notice, look where the exhausts come out the top here. So that the warm air fires out and then gets shot along between these two wings at the back there. Brilliant concept. Absolutely stunning. And you can see the PlayStation steering wheel there. But also, I don't know whether you noticed this on F1 cars, but you often see a lot of incidents on the racetrack. And it's hardly surprising when you see how tiny their little mirrors are. When you think that the driver has got all of this going on in the cockpit with all the buttons and all of that lot, and how restricted their view must be, and then they got the world's tiniest mirrors to actually see who's behind them. So it's a credit to them that they actually don't have many more near misses. We'll just turn that upside down and look at the diffuser there, how the air would be sent up and out the rear of the car. But yeah, it just makes sense, doesn't it, when you look at it, how different aero ideas have evolved over the years. And this was pre-Halo, so you haven't got that on there. But it was after the sad loss of Ayrton, so you had the raised cockpit sides, but they started to try to sculpt them so that air could be utilised and vanes put in the car to send the air down, just to try to push that rear end down, folks. But all in all, I think you can honestly say that that car looks far stationary, doesn't it? It's funny, I'm looking at it now and I can hear that high-pitched sound of the engine, that, you know, that real iconic trumpet-like Formula One car sound. It's stunning, and I miss that sound. With the modern cars, they don't quite have that. So yeah, I know it's an evolution of the sport and its progress, but I just miss that sound. But there you go. What a beautiful, beautiful example of automotive technology. And it's quite poignant when you sit here and, you know, you're looking at the name Michael Schumacher, because he was a wonderful, wonderful driver and a wonderful, wonderful human being. And it is sad what's happened to him. He's had a bad head injury, bless him. And he's kept out of the public eye now, rightly so by his family, for privacy and all of that lot. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Michael, for all that you did for the sport, and not only the Formula One fraternity, but also the wider public. I think look at you and see you as a leading example of how it should be done. So with that in mind, there you have it, folks. That is the Ferrari F2003 GA, driven by Michael Schumacher, folks. And what a stunner. I think you'll agree, don't you? So until the next one, folks, don't forget, if you'd like to grab this collection, head over to DeAgostini below here. There's a clickable link in the description. Head over and take out a subscription, and you too could be sitting here doing brum brum noises and number 11s on your bench like I'm about to. Also, to help me out, folks, if you'd consider clicking that little festa just there and subscribing to my YouTube channel, it helps me grow and bring more content to you, of which, if you ring the bell and select all, you'll get notified of all future releases, folks. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and well, and I will see you on the next one. He was a legend, absolute legend.